Long before his name became a whisper of terror across centuries, Muzan Kibutsuji was born under an omen. The night he came into the world, the moon turned red, and the midwives whispered that the child would not see adulthood. He didn't cry when he was born. His first breath came only after his mother struck him across the back, desperate to bring him to life. Even then, his heart beat weakly, fading in and out like a candle struggling against the wind. Doctors said he wouldn't live past 20. He could collapse at any time. Every breath might be his last. Muzan grew up surrounded by pity and fear. But what the world saw as fragility, he saw as an insult. He hated the weakness inside him. He hated the fear that followed him like a shadow. He began to study feverishly, anatomy, blood, forbidden texts. He read about the gods, immortals, and curses. He swore he would defy death itself. Years later, when his body began to fail, Muzan found a physician who claimed to have discovered a path to eternal life through a mysterious flower known only as the blue spider lily. Desperate, Muzan agreed to become the test subject. The old doctor warned him that the serum was unfinished, that the flower bloomed only in daylight, and he had yet to find the right balance. But Muzan didn't care. He wanted to live, no matter the cost. When he drank the potion, the pain was unimaginable. It felt as if fire coursed through his veins. His body convulsed, his vision blurred, and his heartbeat stopped. The doctor mourned. Muzan was pronounced dead. But moments later, he opened his eyes. The world looked different. Colors deeper, sounds sharper. He could hear the flutter of a moth's wings and the heartbeat of the doctor across the room. He stood up, stronger than ever before. But as he tried to speak, a hunger clawed at his insides. A hunger for blood. The doctor rejoiced at first, until he saw Muzan's face twist in agony and rage. When the physician mentioned creating an antidote, Muzan's fear of weakness returned, and he struck. He killed the old man, ripping him apart in blind fury. And with that act, Muzan Kibutsuji died as a man, and was born as the first demon. New Moon, the Age of Shadows. At first, Muzan felt invincible. No wound could kill him. No disease could touch him. He could bend his body into any shape, vanish into mist, and tear through walls like smoke. But his triumph was short-lived. When morning came, sunlight scorched his flesh like divine punishment. He screamed as his body turned to ash, crawling into the darkness to survive. 4 days, he hid underground, trembling. The realization struck him. He had traded death for eternal suffering. He was not free. He was trapped, cursed to live forever, yet terrified of the dawn. And so began his descent into darkness. Muzan spent decades experimenting with his own blood, trying to replicate his transformation. He discovered that by giving mortals his blood, he could infect them with his power. Some died instantly. Some turned into monsters. A few became powerful, twisted reflections of their former selves. Those who survived became his children. He called them demons, but they were merely puppets, tools for his search for the blue spider lily. He commanded them to hunt, to evolve, to find the flower that could complete his transformation and make him truly immortal, immune to the sun. But none succeeded. One by one, they fell to the demon slayers, humans whose courage burned brighter than the day Muzan feared. Each time a demon died, Muzan felt their death in his own veins. It enraged him, yet deep inside, it terrified him, because every death reminded him that his blood, his curse, was not perfect. Centuries passed, and Muzan grew tired of waiting. He formed the 12 Kazuki, 12 of the most powerful demons born from his blood. Each carried a fragment of his power and his will. Kokoshibo, the fallen samurai. Akaza, the warrior who sought strength but feared weakness. Doma, the false prophet who worshipped nothing but himself. Each of them reflected a piece of Muzan's soul: pride, obsession, emptiness. He saw in them what he hated in himself. He ruled them with fear, killing any who dared to show disobedience. For centuries, Muzan manipulated empires, burned villages, and devoured thousands. Yet, the one thing he could never destroy was the sun. The woman in white. There was a story whispered among demons about a woman Muzan once loved. Before he became the monster, she was the only person who looked at him without fear. She believed he could be saved, even after his transformation. When he began his killings, she begged him to stop. He couldn't. The hunger had consumed him. In a moment of rage and shame, he killed her too. For centuries, Muzan avoided the place where she was buried. But on certain nights, he could hear her voice in the wind. "You have already died, Muzan. Only your fear lives on." And he would whisper back into the night, "I will conquer it, even if I must kill the sun itself." When the Demon Slayer Corps rose again, Muzan laughed. Humans had always been ants to him. But this new generation, they were different. They wielded blades forged from sunlight, moved with breathing techniques that defied logic, and carried the will of centuries of vengeance. Then came Tanjiro Kamado, a boy whose soul burned brighter than daylight itself. He didn't fight for hatred, but for compassion, for a world without monsters. Muzan could not understand it. How could such weakness defeat him? And yet, it did. The more Muzan fought, the more his power decayed. The more he killed, the more he saw the faces of those he had devoured. Children, mothers, lovers, each one asking him the same question. Was this what you wanted? The final dawn. When Muzan was finally cornered, his body began to collapse. He tried to flee, tried to hide underground, but the sun followed him, merciless, unrelenting. As his flesh burned away, he cursed the gods, humanity, and fate itself. In his desperation, he transferred his blood into Tanjiro, hoping to be reborn. But the boy resisted, stronger than even Muzan's curse. And in that final moment, as the light consumed him, Muzan remembered something he hadn't felt in 1,000 years: peace. I only wanted to live. Yet I created hell itself. His ashes scattered with the morning wind. And for the first time in history, the world was silent. But legends say Muzan's soul never vanished completely. It lingers, in shadows, in whispers, in the blood of every demon that ever lived. Because evil, like fear, never truly dies. It waits for another desperate heart to make the same choice he once did.